Alright, so in this episode, I want to give you guys a look inside some of my, favorite art books that I have. So I collect a lot of art books. The reason I do that is because I want something that I can hold in my hand, right? Something that I can hold in my hand, something that I can flip through and look at it and, admire all the artworks and take that in and use that as sort of like an inspiration or fuel, something tangible, because we live in a digital world all the time. We're looking at things through Instagram, everything's good, but I love art books, and I want to show you guys some of my favorites. So the first art book that I absolutely love, love is an understatement for these two books that I have, which is Derek Loffman's Art Book 1 and Art Book 2. So the first one is an XL edition. I freaking love Derek Loffman's work. I'm not even kidding, because that guy has the kind of style that I want to have. And I sort of have that style, but I really admire his artwork for its simplicity and its storytelling and its beautiful, beautiful line works, and not one of those 3D realistic rendering things, but rather he sort of has a style where everything is sort of flat and cartoony, and that is something that I absolutely love. And he's a wonderful character designer and not caricatures, what I was saying. He does sort of caricatures of superheroes, and he has got these mini chibi series where he draws superheroes as tiny little characters, and it's one of his famous series on his Instagram. And he does a lot of artworks, from prop design to world design to character design to creature design, and he does so many things, and his sketches are absolutely beautiful. And man, Loffman is a fantastic artist, and he also does these really cool what do you call these things, movie posters of Star Wars, and I think he did one for Indiana Jones. I don't think so. I think he does it mostly only for Star Wars series and all the Star Wars films. And looking at all these things is what that really, it sort of really fuels me and inspires me. And his stuff is really good. So I have Art Book 1 and also Art Book 2. And both of these books has all these designs. Look at all these character sheets, right? This character sheet right here. This is beautiful, right? So all looking at this tells a story of a character, and what he's going through and things he's expressing, and this is cool. This is what I love. And so yeah, these are the two books, and he's got two more books which I didn't get. The thing is, I live in India, and for me, shipping is as much as the art book itself, twice as much. So if this book is $25, I need to pay $50, and that's how it works for all of these things. But still get them, because I freaking love these things. So on to the next book, which is Disney's Animation Magic. So this is an old book which I stole from my dad's work library. He's also into art. He dabbles in animation and things like that. He doesn't draw, meaning he hires people and does it for him. He's more of a manager. So yeah, and I got this book from him. I borrowed it from him. Then I forgot to give it back. Right? I totally forgot to give it back to him. So I've had this since I was a kid, when I was in say 8th or 9th grade or something like that. So this entire book is written by David Hahn, David Hahn, and he's a producer of Lion King and I didn't know that. Beauty and the Beast. That's amazing. This is the first time I'm reading this book, because I just flip through and look at the pictures, right? And so what this book does is it sort of gives a look into the process of how a Disney movie is made, like the old school Disney movies, the 2D animated films, right? How they're developed, how they're sculpted, what is the sketching phase like, and what do they do during the storyboard phase, There are even a couple of pages in this book where they're actually hand drawing and hand painting all the backgrounds, because back in the day, they didn't have digital computers, or digital painting wasn't that popular back then. And they show the process of how a scene from Lion King is made, right? One of the famous scenes where what's that monkey's name? Jesus, I forgot that monkey's name. So yeah, they show how they storyboarded, how the camera moves and things like that, and the backgrounds are hand painted. An actor prepares which is pretty much a real line right here, and animators are sketching and looking at the line. That is the amount of detail that goes into making these films, right? And this book really inspired me when I was a kid. Looking at all these things, like, man, this is superb, right? This is the kind of process I want to be involved in, and one of the reasons I came into the world of art, this book right here. And also they even show like how special effects are made when computers are in the thing. It's a good book. It's a good book. All right, so the third book that I have is a sketchbook one by Datraj Kamath. Datraj Kamath is an Indian artist and a wonderful artist and a teacher. I think he works in Pune Institute of Art, and he does these Indian-based caricatures and character designs, right? Like really, the people he observes on the street, like people carrying mangoes, people playing music, violin, and people wearing turban, pilgrims, and people like, they're like doing that snake thing, he's snake charming, right? So he's a very unique artist who came across, because when I came across his work for the very first time, there weren't many artists who are in Indian origins that were doing sort of this kind of design, right? Like, look at this. This is a beautiful piece of design right there, and this is the kind of work that these guys do, and this guy does, and yeah, he's got some tips throughout the book. So this is one of my favorite sketchbooks actually. This is out of stock, you cannot buy this anymore. And if Datraj Kamath, if you're watching this video, please make more of these books, and I love to get them. So fantastic book, and I'm very proud owner of the first run copy. Yeah. So next up is a zine called Autobiography. And when I first saw this thing, it read Autobiography. I thought it was like Autobiography. So it's a comic, it's a zine. It's a zine that was made in 24 hours. It is a comic story, and the artwork is really crude, really fast, because it's a 24-hour comic. And it's by who? Fahad Faisal. And I have this book sort of not because of the content, but more of a reminder for me that what can be done in 24 hours. Because even I made a zine in 24 hours. See, I made my own zine in 24 hours. Yeah, actually, I would also highly recommend you get this book. By the way, you cannot get it. It's free though. You can download it. So yeah, I made the zine in 24 hours, right? And having this thing, I love this, right? I love holding books. This is something that I love. I'm so materialistic in that. I don't know. I'm not too much into like money and things like that. Like, I like books, right? So yeah, Autobiography is a comic made in 24 hours. Next up is a book called Creating Stylized Characters by 3D Total Publishing. I like this book, but I wouldn't recommend you get this. I don't recommend this book at all, because one, this is pretty damn expensive, and two, the stuff inside it is good, right? Wonderful artists, like tremendously talented artists inside this book. They're showing their process and things like that. But I was expecting something more different. It's a good introduction into the world of creating stylized characters and character design. And it's a good book to have in your library to just sort of flip through and look at things and, just get ideas and inspiration. It is valuable for most people. It wasn't for me personally though. I didn't get much, if at all anything, from this book. So because I knew about everything, like I went through this thing. It was the typical stuff. If you do a couple of Google searches, you can find this on the internet. But indeed, what's valuable in this book is the process from the 5 artists they've chosen to sort of show their character design process of. And I'd say that is sort of valuable for me, right? And that is good, but I personally didn't like it. I was pretty disappointed when I got it. But overall, this book is sort of good to have on your library and just have it there and flip through. And one of the artists who I really loved from this book was Kenneth Anderson. I really liked his style. This guy who does this frog toad design of this alien creature. I really loved this style. So creating stylized characters. Last but not least is the book that I highly highly recommend that you get, which is The Silver Way by Stephen Silver. Stephen Silver is absolutely legendary, that guy is. I'm not even kidding. That man is insightful. He's a good thinker. He's a good drawer. Again, if that's a word, right? He's a wonderful character designer. A lot of people have learned from him. This book is a gold mine. I'm not even kidding. A gold mine. I'm still digging through this book. Like, you get this book. This is almost as the same price as this one, right? But this one, worth every single penny that you put into it, if not more, right? It's got so many character design tips and techniques and processes and systems and how you do it, how not to do it. Man, this book is wonderful. This is inside the mind of Stephen Silver. By the way, if you don't know who Stephen Silver is a character designer. I think he designed for Kim Possible and Danny Phantom and I think more comics. He's a big name in the animation industry. So this is the book that I highly recommend, and this is my favorite book, right? And I still go through it whenever I need it, because it's like a buffet, right? It's not like it's a course, it's a buffet. You go and dig in ideas and take that idea and apply it and go back in, dig in ideas and come back up. So yeah, so those are some of my favorite art books. I do have some more art books which are like comics and things like that, but these are the books that I sort of have to, on my table. I sometimes just get an art book. What I do with Loftman's book is, right, sometimes I just carry it around in my bag or just keep it on the table to sort of remind myself the kind of artist who I want to be. And that's what I do. I just hold it sometimes. Like, weird, right? I think I have that book fetish. Right. So yeah, that's what I do. And those are my books, favorite art books. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.